If your back pain keeps on coming back, even after stretching and working on back mobility exercises, then your psoas might be the cause. We're going to talk about two scenarios that give us clues going to see if the psoas is a potential problem and what to do about it. So what is your psoas? This is a muscle that connects to the front of your spine and goes to the upper part of the leg. It can create pain down the lower back, and it ties into posture. You will get pain after sitting, driving, standing from a seated position, lying flat on your back, and even arching your back. So what are the two scenarios that lead us to the psoas as the main problem, and what can you do about it? If you're getting any value out of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We also have other resources for you in the description. We have other videos that are going to be similar videos of these areas, as well as ways to work with us. We also have free resources such as free reports. We have my book that I just wrote about a year ago. And we have links to that where you can actually purchase that, where we go into a lot of different body parts, but we really talk about what are the ways that we feel pain. And if we pick the wrong category, this is why you're not getting better. And then we go into a lot of the mechanical things, whether it's back or hip or knee or ankle. We do it through patient stories, so you can kind of see yourself in that story to go like, oh wow, that sounds like me. No one's ever thought of that. Maybe that's how, that's the direction I need to go into. But we also have free resources within that book to kind of help you navigate your body a little bit better. So make sure you subscribe. If you have any comments or anything on questions on anything about any of these videos, make sure you put it in the comment section, because we do read them. We do get back to you on some of those things. So what are the two scenarios? The first scenario is when you have a lot of weakness. And so when we find people that they actually can move really well in their back, they move really well in their hips, that there's no problems, there's no mobility issues in how the joints move, but they're getting pain in their back, that's the first sign of like, let's go look at the psoas and what happens with this. And so when you have a lot of weakness, what can happen, because that muscle attaches all the way into the spine in the front, it actually goes up into close to where the diaphragm is as well, and it'll go all the way down and attaches in through here. This muscle is basically stabilizing an area because nothing else is able to do it. And we have to work on getting other muscles to fire to allow this to kind of relax and release. Because if you just go and release the muscle when you have a lot of weakness in a lot of different areas, then it's just going to come back again, because you're just that's why. It's just like you're using that as a main stabilizer. None of the other muscles are working. And so we have to work on getting some of the other core muscles to work while you don't feel the areas in through here working. Sometimes you'll feel areas back in through here working because you can't get any of the hips and to fire the way they're supposed to be firing because of the way you're compensating. So we're not going to be showing any kind of core exercises that we work on with these clients, but we will do that in another video. So make sure you check out our next video coming out after this, and we're going to go into some of the core things that you can do when your psoas is tight because of weakness and that muscle is just taking over. Now, the second scenario is when you have someone that is really stiff. I'm telling you, like, if we go and we ask them to do a press up, they literally look like this. They can't get the back to actually arch or do anything. They're literally tight like this. And so when we have people that look like that, we can start working on improving that mobility, but we also know that in the front, you're going to get some protection in the front because it's just protecting. And when we're in this shortened position through here, which our back doesn't always like, but neither does that psoas. So if it's that psoas is working harder for stability, or it's working harder for protection because nothing's able to really move, then keep it in that shortened position will actually just keep it shortened, which is why the sitting gives you problems. And it's why the reversal also will give you problems, because that muscle is short and now you're asking it to elongate as you kind of stand up. So one of the things that we have to work on when someone is so stiff is we have to work on releasing that muscle and stretching everything out in the front, on top of us doing joint mobilizations, joint stretches for the back, because it's really a combination of both. You're getting that tightness because of the protection. So I'm going to show you 2 exercises that we give our clients that help elongate this. Now there's other exercises that we give for back stretches and things like that. You can go to other videos and you'll be able to see what those look like. But this is specifically for that psoas muscle. So one thing, and again, you got to know, is your back super stiff or is your back super flexible? If your back is super flexible, more than likely we have got to work on getting everything to fire correctly so that you don't use those muscles. But if it's super stiff, then this is the direction that we go into with releasing it. So the psoas is, if we find our hip muscles, you'll find these bones in the front and through here. And if you go just to the inside, this is where everything you're going to find the tightness, because that's where it lies. It literally lies through here and attaches like in through here and attaches to the front part of that spine. Pretty high up, even up close to where the diaphragm is. And so if you go in where your bone is through here, you can use a stick like this. It's perfect. You don't have to go get anything that's super expensive or something that only specifically works on releasing it. You can use this to just kind of push down. And as you push down, you just want to breathe. And you just kind of hold the pressure there. You can kind of angle it in different areas and then you'll be able to kind of maybe feel it a little bit more. So you just kind of push down and just kind of work it in there. Relax and breathe and just kind of hold it. That holding is going to help everything kind of release. You can go down a little bit farther, but you're having to go through your abs to get pretty low in there. And what you'll feel is it'll feel like hard as a rock. Typically what we can tell too when we move a joint like a hip joint, when the hip joint itself doesn't move, what we find is it'll be very like a hard stuck in feel. And when it's tight, it's like it's tight and your body kind of wants to go around it, but there's a little bit of softness to it. That's other clues that we get within our evaluation that, oh wait, the hip joint's moving fine. This is coming from the psoas. It's just super tight in the front. It feels very different, which is what happens when you get to an evaluation with someone that understands kind of the body. They pick up on those little small cues. So this is kind of what you'll do to kind of help release that psoas. You can use the stick to kind of help you. Now, we also like to stretch it. So when people are super stiff, really, really stiff, we are giving them joint stretches and we are giving them some, like this is going to be more of a soft tissue, a myofascial stretch, because we're going to actually stretch it through multiple joints. And when you can stretch it through multiple joints, you're going to get more of a myofascial stretch and you're going to feel it everywhere, which is great because not only do your hips, a hip flexor attaches in through here, but your quads also attach up into the hips as well. And so you're just really stretching all of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a strap and you're going to put it around your foot. We're going to get into the kneeling position. Usually I tell people to make sure they can get somewhere where they can actually hold on to something. And you're going to just lean as far forward as possible. And then you're going to pick the leg up. So you're going to get a good stretch from here. If you're tight, you're going to get a good stretch from here all the way into that quad. And you're just going to breathe and let everything kind of sink in. And holding this for a good 30 seconds to a minute to really just open up that space through there so that we can really get everything in through here to kind of open up. So those are 2 really good stretches that you can do if you're also like super stiff in the back and that's where some of your pain is coming from the tightness in the front of your leg, which we call the psoas. So if this sounds like you and you are tired of guessing, this is a great time to schedule a time to talk with us, to really get an understanding of what's coming, where your pain is actually coming from. So if that is something that you're interested in, you can definitely go into our description. We have the different ways that you can work with us in that description. And so make sure you sign up what we call kind of a discovery visit. It's what we call it, where you can sit down, kind of have a conversation if you live in the DFW area, because we can definitely help figure out what's going on with your back and where the pain is actually coming from. So that is it, and we'll see you next time.